Hello everyone, and today we are back for another Loomian Legacy Top 5 video, and we're going to be talking about all of the Atlantean City arcade machines from worst to best. So, some of the arcade machines are really good, while some of them are absolutely miserable to play, and there are a total of 4 arcade games in total. So let's head right onto this list. So, number 4 onto this list, and the worst arcade game is Zulong. Now, I can understand some people putting this game higher than Doobo, but the reason why I really don't like the Zulong game is because of how sluggish the gameplay is. This is at 4 times speed, and it's still pretty slow even on 4 times speed. Now, I do understand that the Zulong game is basically just Snake, and I'm not a fan of Snake neither, because again, the gameplay is very slow. And the controls, especially on the mobile edition, are really bad. Sometimes I just make a turn too late and I overshoot. And with the power fruits, they can be placed at some of the worst spots sometimes. I find this game really unplayable at times, but there are a couple good things about the game. I like the Zulong design. The Zulong saddle might be the best design, at least the best saddle, out of all of the other games, so that's good. And I also like the theme. I think the theme to this minigame is pretty good. But other than that, all the other games beat Zulong by a landslide. I at least have a little bit of enjoyment with all the other games, while with this game, it's way too slow, and I don't ever enjoy the Zulong game. And that's why it's at the bottom of my list. Number 3 onto this list is going to be Doobo. Doobo is basically Flappy Bird, and I never really liked Flappy Bird, but Doobo does have its perks. I really do like its theme. The music theme is I really like the music theme. And I do like I like the graphics for the game. It looks pretty nice. But the problem is that the graphics could sometimes get in the way. Yes, you could turn off the background so you could see a little better, but it just looks weird without the background. So, you either have stuff in the way, or the game looks weird, which is not good. And also, this game is very challenging, and I'm not a fan of super challenging games. But I will say this, there is a perk with Doobo compared to the other games. This is a game that involves a lot of skill. This is the only skill-based game on the list, as all the other games have an element of luck. There's no luck with Doobo. You have to be really skilled in order to get a high score in this game, and that's it. No luck involved. And I can see some people ranking Doobo pretty high because of it, but I can also see people ranking Doobo in last place because of how hard the game is. But as of me, I think it's a little better than Zulong, but not as good as Dish Drop and Pro Pay Pumble, and that's why it's number 3 on the list. Number 2 onto this list, and just one off from number 1, is Dish Drop. Now, Dish Drop should probably be in the number 1 spot, but there's a couple huge flaws that hold it back. But Dish Drop is basically Candy Crush, and just like Candy Crush, this game is very fun. You could set up combos together, you can get combos of 4 and 5, and you could string points together. And this is probably the minigame that gives you the most ticks, which is awesome. Because you need ticks in order to buy all the moves in Boonary, so this is probably the most productive game to play in the arcade. But the reason why it is number 2, it probably has the worst saddles. Yeah, I mean, the Expert Disc and the Ace Disc are fine, but they're so hard to get because you need to get 500,000 for the Ace Disc, and for the Expert Disc, you need to max out the score counter, which is so hard to do, and it takes so long. But that's not even the biggest problem with Dish Drop. The biggest problem with Dish Drop is that you can't get your own power-ups. Power-ups just spawn on the field on random, so this game is kind of a luck machine. You can always get a lot of points if you play for long enough, but it's so hard to combo points really fast. It makes it very slow paced. So that's why it's not in the number 1 spot. The best arcade game in all of Loomian Legacy is Pro Pay Pumble. And it's not even close. Pro Pay Pumble is by far the best arcade game in all of Loomian Legacy. This is probably the minigame that I would probably play the most. This would probably be the only arcade game I would go back to over and over and over again. You just whack Pro Pays. It's a simple concept, but the way Loomian Legacy implemented this into the game is awesome. There's thousands of Pro Pays that give you different points. And if you hit 4 golden Pro Pays, you whack this King Pro Pay, and once you KO the King Pro Pay, your mallet gets bigger and you can slam on all the other Pro Pays. There's just an exhilaration rush when you actually smack the King Pro Pay, and it's really fun. And this game also has the best theme out of all of the minigames. The only flaw with this game will probably have to be, one, the luck element of getting the golden pro pays, and also, you don't get a lot of ticks from playing this game, but this is the only game that's paced right. Right. There's a minute and 15. You humble pro pays, you get a high score, and you play again. It's paced perfectly, it's really fun, it's exhilarating, and it's probably the best arcade game in all of Loomian Legacy, and it's a well-deserved #1 slot. And here it is, the Pro Pay Pumble, the best arcade game in all of Loomian Legacy. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 5 list. I know it isn't really a top 5, but I really do hope Loomian Legacy adds more arcade games in the future, because these games are really fun to make, even some of the bad ones. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video of me talking about the arcade machines, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!